My name is Tegan Englam, and today I'll be speaking about defunding Planned Parenthood. According to the Alliance Defending Freedom, over 300,000 innocent lives are aborted every year in Planned Parenthood clinics nationwide, and these lives are lost with the help of government funding and taxpayer dollars. Now, in previous English classes, I have written countless papers on the topic of abortion and specifically on the unconstitutionality of the Roe v. Wade court case itself, which legalized abortion. However, I have never focused on the abortion giant that is Planned Parenthood, and after further research, it is not what it seems. In some way, Planned Parenthood is relevant to everyone here, as you've most likely encountered someone who has used one of Planned Parenthood's services, whether it was for birth control, STD testing, or any other service. Today, we will examine why Planned Parenthood should be defunded by looking at its deceiving background, involvement with sex trafficking, performance of partial birth abortions, and how we can take action to get this organization off of government funding. First, we will examine the background of how Planned Parenthood receives money through the government. Title 10 of the Public Health Services Act and Medicaid are the two federal regulations by which Planned Parenthood receives money. The funding can be used for all family planning services, except for abortion. However, there are no provisions that disallow the redistribution of money from the family planning services to performing abortions. Now, this is where we'll start examining Planned Parenthood's deception. It is the number one abortion provider in the United States, although its annual reports state that only 3% of its services are abortion. This statistic in itself is quite deceiving. To explain this more clearly, Planned Parenthood calculates its numbers based on the services performed rather than the number of individuals receiving its services. This means one person can receive multiple services at one time and they would all count separately. The Daily Signal states that Planned Parenthood was responsible for 30.6% of all abortions in the United States from 2014 to 2015. The Daily Signal also states that only 0.97% of Pap tests and 1.8% of breast exams nationwide were done by Planned Parenthood in the same year. In this chart, you can see there were only 9,433 prenatal care services compared to this area that shows the over 300,000 abortions. The 3% statistic is also denied by the Alliance Defending Freedom. They state that abortions are over half of the patient fees at Planned Parenthood clinics. This misleading statistic is further intensified by the concept of abortion quotas. The Alliance Defending Freedom has quotes from former employees saying there are abortion quotas since it is one of the only ways to make money off of a pregnant woman who comes into their clinics. Prenatal care is not one of their main services. The Texas Right to Life explains that Planned Parenthood's other services have started to decrease in the presence of abortion profits. Prenatal services specifically dropped 46% in 2015. The next part of the deception revolves around Planned Parenthood's involvement in sex trafficking. The National Review is one of many websites to divulge Planned Parenthood's involvement. In 2011, a pro-life organization called Life Action did an undercover investigation where members posed as child sex traffickers and visited Planned Parenthood facilities in several different states from New York to Arizona. These undercover members asked about abortions, STI tests, and contraceptive services for underage girls, and the employees at the clinics were caught by a video giving information about the best way for these undercover sex traffickers to get these services. The employees also mentioned that the clinics would disregard parent consent laws in order to perform abortions for the young children. Taxpayer money is going into an organization that has been involved in a sex trafficking scandal. And in addition to this illegal sex trafficking scheme, Planned Parenthood has also been exposed for performing partial birth abortions. The partial birth abortion ban is a federal regulation prohibiting abortions by which a fetus is extracted alive up to a certain point. The Center for Medical Progress obtained video evidence that Planned Parenthood could circumvent this regulation. The center had members pose as buyers from a company that wanted to harvest organs and tissues from fetuses in second trimester abortions. They discussed with Dr. Susie Prabhakaran, the Medical Affairs Vice President for Planned Parenthood in the Southwest, about partnering to obtain these organs and tissues. Prabhakaran was recorded saying that they could do so because they are able to comply with the partial birth abortion ban by stating that they intend to extract the fetus by dismemberment rather than extracting it whole, which would go against the ban. This exposure details the brutal abortion practices that Planned Parenthood performs. Do you really want your money to go towards such a deceiving and unethical organization? Now that we've established a problem with Planned Parenthood, we can detail the solution to fix it. I believe that there are a multitude of steps to follow to get Planned Parenthood defunded. These steps include informing the public of their deceit, inciting action from Congress, and contacting businesses who support and fund them. The first step of informing the public about the behind the scenes of Planned Parenthood is crucial. There are many individuals who believe what they hear without questioning its validity. For example, hearing that the abortions are only 3% of the services Planned Parenthood provides does not show the full picture. However, researching and being informed about the truth does. There are many great references that expose Planned Parenthood, including the website for the Alliance Defending Freedom, which has numerous informative videos. The next step is inciting action from Congress. Defunding Planned Parenthood will occur at the federal level, so contacting Congress en masse will show the people's opinion. Also, there are many major businesses that donate to Planned Parenthood, including AT&T, Bank of America, Adobe, and Nike, and the rest of this list too. If these businesses are contacted and persuaded, they can stop putting money into Planned Parenthood as well. Although you may think about how Planned Parenthood's patients would fare if it lost its government funding, there are over 9,000 other healthcare centers that could receive the government funding instead, according to the Heritage Foundation. These 9,000 health centers do not perform abortions, so the question of whether the funding will be reallocated would not even be a topic of discussion. Also, FocusOnTheFamily.com states that Planned Parenthood would likely stay afloat even without the government funding because of the revenue they make off of abortions. In addition, there is a trend that pro-choice movements fill the financial gap when the government takes money away from abortion centers. If Planned Parenthood is not defunded, taxpayer dollars will continue to go towards an institution responsible for over a third of the abortions in the United States, as seen in this chart. After recognizing how our future looks in the face of the abortion giant Planned Parenthood, immediate action is necessary in order to put our tax dollars towards healthcare centers instead of an institution that takes more lives than any other. Each of us can begin to research into organizations and legislations in order to gain a better understanding, create our own beliefs, and stay true to our values. Because I know after researching this inhumane organization, I can now use my knowledge to persuade others about the necessary action that we need to take. To conclude, defunding Planned Parenthood can decrease the amount of abortions in the United States, and precious babies will have the chance to live. Start taking action now by informing yourself about this unjust institution. Thank you.